The title is not clickbait. 2 out of the 3 of us are about to lose every single hand played.
We have another Texas Card House live stream 1-3-500 max for y'all.
If you want to play in these massive games, join our Patreon link right here below. That's how you get a lot of money.
Let's get into it.
Welcome back, everyone. You know the drill. Here we go with 6-5 of diamonds on the button. I opened a 45 over a $12 straddle, Mayhem defensive straddle, and we are off to the races in a $100 pot to the flop of King 5-4 Rainbow. Not only do I likely have the best hand here, this board also heavily favors my range, so I go ahead and toss out $30 when he checks to me, which Mayhem snap calls with his juicy gutter ball. Turn is the Jack of Clubs, and when it checks to me, I check this one back. No need to turn my pair into a bluff, and let's get one more street closer to showdown. River is a 7 of spades, a seemingly safe card, but now Mayhem leads out for $70. My hand is a bluff catcher at best, and Mayhem might even be value betting a jack here some portion of the time. I'm going to have plenty of better hands to call off on the river, such as queens, tens, a pair of jacks, or even some kings that I check back the turn with. So I let it go, which clearly was the wrong move in the moment, and Mayhem is already causing mayhem on the felt.
We are playing 1-3-15 this hand. The straddle is already on, which means our stack of $500 is effectively just 33 big blinds here. With that in mind, let's do this thing. We see Mayhem technically limp in the cutoff for $15, Pat in the Hat on the button comes in for the open to 75, and we wake up with ladies, baby. What an awesome spot. Definitely liking the idea of a 3-bet here. We're out of position with a great hand. I go for a sizing of $250 and immediately get jammed on by Cam Nuts for $525 effective. What is happening here? It folds back to me. You guys can see the bad news, but I do not have X-ray vision, unfortunately. We've already committed half of our stack. We only technically started the hand with 33 big blinds, so we slide in that call and get a dagger to the heart when Cam Nuts flips those kings over. The pot is now $1,200. It's sneakily become a top 10 pot size for me in my career for sure. And let's head to 2 runouts. 4-5-9, 8-3, nope. 8-9 king, nice. A 5 and a deuce. It's all good. I'm going to keep my head up and go into comeback mode.
Oh, it's so gross. Okay, my first hand of the night, I look down at Ace King offsuit playing 1-3-10. I open for $50. It folds back to the straddle. We're going to keep his hand a mystery just for 1 second. He puts in a 3-bet to $150. With Ace King and only 50 big blinds, I feel like this is a slam dunk. I go all in for $500. And he snap calls. What does he have? Pocket queens. Oh boy. Okay, let's go to a run out. We're going to run it twice. Queen 7-5. Oh, 9 of diamonds. We're dead. And an ace just to really rub it in. Grossing that ace. However, running it twice. So instead of it being a 50% chance, now there's going to be a 25% chance. Come on, what do you say now? King. No, 7-3-9. 2. Not good. Jack of hearts. Okay, so we get stacked for our first hand of the night. It's alright. We're going to move on into the next one.
Oh, this session is not off to a hot start for us. I'm sorry, Frankie. Hopefully I can get some vengeance for you with ace-5 of diamonds and under the gun +3. I open to 15, and Bob 3-bets us to 45 in the cutoff. Frankie gives his best Jim from The Office impression, having to let go of that beautiful 8-9 of clubs and staring into the camera's soul. I love to see it. And it folds back to me, where I don't necessarily love to see this. We are out of position with a weak ace that will often be crushed. I say we just wait for a better spot. I fold, and we were behind Bob's pocket tens.
Unfortunately for me, we were super card dead this stream and didn't get into too many exciting hands on camera. Here's one of the biggest pots I played on stream. Bob opens Jack 9 in the +1. It became very clear early on that he was playing way too many hands, so I had to adjust in position. I began 3-betting him with a wider and more linear range for value. I pick up ace-jack suited and 3-bet him, get one cold caller, and then Cam Nut says screw your linear 3-betting range and slams an all-in right on my head with ace-king. We all fold and he scoops in a solid pot.
Come on, I gotta bring one home for the boys. I look down after a limp and a raise to $10 at Pocket Aces in Omaha. Houston boys brought this game up to us. Suited aces, I'm gonna make a raise. I go $50, which is the pot. We see a call from Pat in the Hat with a really trash hand. Cam Nuts folds, and Bob, he makes the call with a pretty connected hand, although he's blocking some of his diamonds. Good spot heading to the flop, which comes Jack 8, 8, no longer a good spot. It checks to me. We do not like seeing a paired board, and I do not have any clubs, so I check it back. The turn is the 5 of diamonds. It checks over to Bob with trips. He puts out a bet of 125. I'm not going to get sticky here with aces. We're basically drawing to just an ace, so after watching a couple of Dogfish Poker vlogs and Andrew Nemi vlogs, I make the fold here, which is the right decision. Glad I did that. And the commentators tend to agree.
Some more inexperienced players in Omaha would have paid him off there. But that was really good.
That was a very good fold there by Frankie.
Great folds, guys.
Respect for not falling in love with those aces, Frankie. This hand we are playing 1-3-6. With that straddle, we see +1 limp, and we wake up with pocket tens and +2, open to $35. And Bob wakes up with the beautiful ace king of diamonds in the hijack and puts in a big old 3-bet to $135. It folds back to me, and it's time to think. I'm debating my options. If I was in position, I would lean towards a call. Being out of position is tough because if I call and likely see an overcard on the flop, I will feel gross when I check to him and he c-bets. This leaves me with either a raise or a fold. Given the straddle bloating the bet sizing, a jam is the only raise that really makes much sense, and I don't like the idea of ripping it in with tens here. Would that be a bluff? Would it be fair value? I don't know, so I elect to fold here and would have been snap called had I jammed. Given Bob was a looser player, I think a jam may have been the best play, even though he did have a great hand in this specific case.
I'm pretty card dead, but we're playing 1-3-6, so plenty of time to make some money back. We see an open from Pat in the Hat to $30. Cam Nuts and +3 makes the call, folds to me in the small blind with ace king of diamonds. We have him pipped. Let's go. I put in a 3-bet to $130 versus one of the loosest players at the table. Great action, and Pat in the Hat puts in a raise to $500. My graphics are slightly wrong. I had 500 starting, so it's gonna be about $60 more than what the graphics say. Cam Nuts gets out of the way, and I'm obviously making the call here. You guys in the comments said you want to see one time, and that's what I'm doing. Let's go on off to a flop.
One time.
One time. Frankie said he's going to do one time no matter what. So here we go.
Okay.
All right.
Safe flop.
Oh,
Dangerous
spade draw,
turn.
of course.
Oh, no.
No.
And the runner Broadway.
You got to be kidding me.
Oh boy, just one of those days. Ugh. Okay, we're gonna battle. Someone save me.
Oh boy, poker is hard. I am sorry, Frankie. Hopefully I can actually get you vengeance this time, because it's time to get back on track, and what a hand to do it with, other than pocket aces under the gun. And if you're a fan of the Jonathan Little poker coaching tip of the vlog segment, buckle up, because this hand will not be simple. I opened at $15 and get 1, 2, 3, 4 callers. Oh boy, that's Texas poker for you. We're off to a flop 5 ways, which comes 9, 5, 6 rainbow. The big blind checks, and I am unsure of whether or not to c-bet here. In this exact moment in game, I actually recall a video from Jonathan Little discussing mistakes with pocket aces, and one of those mistakes was c-betting boards where it does not connect with our range at all. This is one of those spots, and there are 4 opponents in here with me, so I decide to check, and it checks around. The turn is a rainbow king, and now it's time to bet. I bet $50 into 76, and only Cam Nuts calls with top pair. We are looking to make a ton of money here as we head to a river. Lovely. It is a jack. Now I can't see this, and I'm almost certain he has King X from the way the hand is played out, so it's time to bet for value here. Yes, King Jack got there, but all the other King X did not. I bet $100. He does not have any ordinary King X. He raises to $250. I don't think too long before folding, which was the correct play as he had 2 pairs, so I like to see that. But Jonathan, what do we think about my choice to not c-bet this flop?
For the most part, in multi-way pots, in scenarios where you have almost no effective nut hands, you should do a whole lot of checking. And on 9, 6, 5, you have almost no nut hands, whereas all of the pre-flop callers could easily have all the sets and 8, 7 suited. So to avoid the cooler spots where you bet and get raised and just load your money in, checking is usually ideal. And if you do check here and someone bets and someone raises, you can fold. If someone bets and everyone else folds, you can easily call or perhaps put in a raise. If someone bets and someone calls, you could also call or perhaps put in a raise depending on how it plays out. But it's important to note that in the scenario, when you have almost no effective nut hands, you should do a lot of checking. And I realize with this exact hand, you don't especially want to check because there are a lot of really bad turns that could come off and complete your opponent's various draws. But you know on an 8 or a 7, you're not particularly happy. And all the other cards are reasonable enough.
All right, we're on hand number 6 for me without a win to be found. We have ace-king offsuit here. It's a good hand. We see under the gun go for the min raise to $6. That won't be enough. I 3-bet to $25. It's time to get that first win. And we get 3 callers, because that's Texas, baby. So we're going off to a flop 4 ways, which comes a classic one for ace-king in 4-3-6 rainbow. It checks to me. I guess I'm a little frustrated. I do c-bet here $30, just trying to get a win. I think this is a mistake. I mean, we're 4 ways here, so I think we need to chill out when we brick the flop. I mean, we checked aces just a second ago, so this is worse than aces. Bob calls with top pair, and now we're going to need some help. The turn is another 6. I check. Bob bets. I debate peeling with ace high given the board pairing and Bob's reputation, but I do thankfully make the right fold. Still looking for that first win.
This is a juicy one and also the biggest pot on stream that we play. We straddle for a change of scenery and pick up king queen of spades. Pat in the hat opens to $40 and Bob calls in the big blind. I defend rather than 3-betting to close the action, facing a larger than usual raise. Flop comes ace deuce deuce with 2 spades. When it checks over to Dr. Seuss, he bets $75 and Bob makes a call, and I'm faced with quite the decision. Although I'm getting a great price to flat here and see a turn card, it became really clear to me early on that Pat in the hat was bluffing a lot and Bob was floating really wide. If I flat and miss a turn, it's going to be really hard to get to the river without being put to a decision for my entire stack. So I decided to take advantage of my read, push my equity, and force my opponents to a decision. I'm all in for $325. Dr. Seuss counts 1 fish, 2 fish before shipping his stack all in. Bob folds his pair, and boy did we run into it. We decide to run it twice with all our soldiers at risk, looking for a mere spade on either of the 2 runouts. The first turn is a black 10 and we pick up outs, but we brick the river. The second board stabs me in the heart on the turn. It's another deuce boating up Seuss, and we get felted on live television. Hi, Mom.
We have the hand that has caused us nightmares, ace-king offsuit. There's a straddle and a call before me. I put in a raise to $40. We see a hijack call, a button call, and an under the gun straddle call by Bob. Good just flat by him, but we have all these hands dominated. Let's see one clean king-high flop. Flop comes queen 6 for rainbow. We have nothing. I'm not going to be betting into 4 lunatics with just ace high. Sorry, boys, you are lunatics, but I love you. Checks through, and the turn after I miss again, it's a 2 of hearts. Bob puts out a pretty hefty bet. I have to fold. There's going to be a couple more hands after the stream.
Stream's almost over. You have not seen either of the 3 of us win a hand yet, but we're not giving up just yet. We see under the gun plus 3 open to 30 here. 10 times the size of the big blind, one of the biggest opens I've seen all night. But we've got pocket 10s in the cutoff. We're not going anywhere just yet. We make the call. Heads up in position to a flop of Jack 7-7 rainbow. Mayhem c-bets $35. Now there's only 1 overcard to our 10s. He's been one of the loosest players at the table, so I make the call. The turn is the 6 of spades. It brings on a backdoor flush and straight draws. He bets $35 again, and this is a repeat bet, which can sometimes be a sign of weakness, and it's giving me great odds to inch towards that showdown we so desperately desire. So I make the call again. The river is the 3 of spades. It completes the backdoor flush draw and the straight draw open-ender of 4-5. Not the best card, but Mayhem only bets $10 here. We're getting over 20 to 1 on a call. Let's do it. We take this one down versus pocket 8s, and Next Gen Poker is finally scooping a pot their way. Hi, into the game for $1,300, out for $550.
I was one of those 0 hold'em winners. That's okay. In for something, out for minus $850.
I got a goose egg tonight, but you boys know, not my fault. In for $1,500, out for $400.
We'll be back.
That is a combined loss of $2,500, so make sure to get some merch, boys. We really need the help.
Please.
Please, so bankroll.
Or just drop a like.
Drop a like.
Subscribe.
Here's some extra hands.
Alright, cameras are off us but still on the cards, and we get rewarded right away by scooping a huge pot in an Omaha bomb pot versus Bob, where we get 3 streets of value, winning with a straight on one board, and somehow a weak 2-pair holds up on the second. Very next hand we pick up ace king in the cutoff and 3-bet Bob's $20 open to $75, and he defends. Heads up in position to a 7-7-6 flop. Not great, but I still want to maintain the betting lead, so I bet $40. a sizing I expect him to float with a ton of worse hands than my ace high. He calls, and turn comes a deuce, he checks, and I check this card back, planning to call a river bet if he decides to do so. River's another deucer, and he does bet to the tune of $115. I pretty much snap call, and he forgot to tell me it was National Take All of Jack's Money Day because he shows me the dirty 8-7 offsuit for the full house. He takes my chips from the bomb pot right on back. Nice hand, Bob, you got me.
Live stream is off, but the phone is out. We're at a very loose in action table playing 1-3-6. I look down at pocket tens and the hijack. There is a low jack open to $20, and I 3-bet it up to $75. Folds over to the small blind, who puts in a hefty 4-bet, $225. Folds back to me. I'm not trying to get involved with pocket tens. I fold, and he's nice enough to show us pocket kings. Still looking for that first win. We're running up against it. We're back to the Omaha streets, still at a very loose table. We're in the cutoff with King 10-9 Jack with the suited spades. We see the person to our right, Nick, open up in the hijack to $15. I make the call in the cutoff, and the big blind calls. So heading 3-ways to a flop, which comes 10-10-3. Let's go. We flop trips. Let's see what happens. We see a pot-sized bet from Nick to our right. He makes it $65 to go. I call with my trips, and the big blind player folds. Heading off to a turn, which is a 7 of hearts, and listen to what Nick has to say to us.
I'm letting you know, man. I don't want you to lose any money.
Nick says he feels bad that I'm down a lot of money, yet he still puts a bet out, this time for $100. And we could be behind to ace 10, so I'm definitely not thinking about raising, but even if we are, I plug this into a Poker Equity Omaha calculator, and we do have the odds to make the call, try and hit our full house, and we have 350 behind, so if we do, we'll be putting it all in. The river comes a 4, and he puts out a bet of $125. I don't like just having naked trips here. You can have any full houses, so I do put in the fold, and Nick shows us 10-4 for the full house. This is not going well, but I made the right calls and I made the right folds, so we're happy.
It's later in the night and we've got the ducks on the big blind. There's a $20 cutoff open and a call before I defend, and we're 3-ways to a pretty good looking flop. 6-3 deuce with a flush draw. Here we go. It checks to the aggressor, who unfortunately decides to check this one back. Turns an offsuit 10 and I lead for 50. Our buddy Nick calls in the cutoff and we're heads up to a board pairing 10. We boat up. Should I size down here and target ace highs to call, or bet big and look like a bluff? It's unlikely Nick has an overpair because he checked the flop and just called the turn. It's also unlikely he's got a 10 in his hand, as there are only 2 of those left, especially given the fact that the 10 of clubs is unaccounted for, which if Nick happened to have a suited 10 like 10-9 or jack 10 of clubs, I would also expect him to bet this flop. I think he's going to have a lot of strong ace highs like ace king or ace queen that flow to the turn, and although a small bet might target those hands, a big bet might be a more convincing way to get some ace highs to call. There aren't too many holdings I can be doing this for value with besides sets, trips, or a flop straight, so I go for a big one of $200 and get snap called. I show the deuces and Nick shows that we brutally coolered him. He had ace 10. Retrospectively, if we bet small, he likely would have raised and we could have gotten our whole stack in there. Either way, happy to be scooping a pot in my way, and we are making a comeback, baby.
This is our last chance, the last hand of the night. I look down at ace queen of hearts in the button, playing 1-3. Jello raises under the gun to $6, a small little min raise. The hijack calls, and the cutoff, who is Nick, a kind of a maniac, makes a call as well. So I put in a 3-bet to $55, trying to get value from all of these players. And the big blind puts in a cold 4-bet, shout out Tristan, to $155. Folds back to me, and I have a pretty solid hand, but against a cold 4, it's not very strong. However, he didn't make it too big, so I decide to make the call. He's only got about $206 behind as we head to a flop, which comes 9-10 jack with 2 spades. We flop an open-ended straight draw, and he checks to me. I only got one option here, as I'm not checking. I jam all in for $206, and Tristan, he makes the call with ace of clubs, king of hearts. He's got ace king. We're gonna run it twice though. All we have to do is hit our straight. Jello, please give us a run out. I don't even want to say anything.
Ace king. Ace queen. Oh shit.
Oh Oh, somehow we miss them both. I don't feel so sure about my call pre-flop. That's why I called in Jonathan Little. I might have been tilted instead of folding. Let's see what Jonathan has to say about calling the 155.
If you see that the player in the big blind doesn't really 3-bet a lot and essentially never 4-bets, you should probably make a tight fold with the ace queen of hearts. It's an annoying spot. You certainly don't like it, but you don't really have any other great options because if you call, the pot's already gonna be gigantic, and if you get anything, you just have to put it in. But I think in most 1-3 games, the range you're gonna be against is something like aces, kings, queens, and ace king. And against that range, you're in pretty bad shape. So I think I would have found a nitty fold pre-flop, as much as I hate doing it, because ace queen suited is a really, really good hand.
Final hand of note, the vlog hasn't seen them in a while, and I know you are probably missing them too. The ladies greet us in the cutoff. Even better, there's a low jack $20 open. I bump it up to 65 and he makes a call. Flop comes 10 high, pretty connected with the flush draw. And interestingly enough, the low jack leads for $75. Kind of an odd spot, but he's only got about 225 more behind. And if he wants to see a turn, it's not going to be this easy. He must have forgot that we are at a buffet because it's all you can eat. I'm all in, and he goes into the tank for just a bit and ultimately decides to call. He asks to run it twice. I don't mind, so we go ahead and see an ace and a 7 on the first board and an ace and a 4 on the second board. Flush draw got there, and now we lose on both boards to any ace, but that doesn't matter because the low jack shows pocket 9s and we scoop in this pot. What a way to end the session. We went from being down over $800 once the cameras turned off to ending up $75 on the night. Let's go.
Absolutely brutal session. In for 15, out for $0. Peace.